This is a special meeting of the Redmond City Council held on Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, commencing at 6:30 p.m. Council members in attendance are Council President Kritzer, Council Vice President Forsyth, Councilmember Nueva Camina, Councilmember Salahuddin, Councilmember Fields, Councilmember Anderson, and Councilmember Stewart. Tonight, we have a joint meeting with the Arts and Culture Commission and City Council, and Lorraine Hamilton, Parks and Recreation Director, will introduce us.
Yes, good evening, City Council. I'm Lorraine Hamilton, the Parks and Recreation Director. This evening, we are joined by our illustrious Arts and Culture Commission, and they're going to be just sharing with you a little bit about their work plan, goals that they've accomplished, and things that they're looking forward to. And so I'm actually just going to hand it off to the chair, Kathy O'Keefe, to take this item forward.
All right, thank you, Mayor Bernie and City Council, for this opportunity to present the Commission's work over the past year and for us to discuss future work and priorities. The Commission consists of 9 commissioners plus 2 youth advocates. They will each introduce themselves, beginning with our chair. My name is Kathy O'Keefe, and I have been on the Commission for a year and a half, and our vice chair.
Lata Sambamurthy, and I have been on the Commission since 2021.
Hi, my name is Dr. Neelam Chalia, and I have been on the Commission since 2021.
My name is Carrie Scottkin, and I've been on the Commission since 2021.
Michael Hevener. Is this on? Oh, Michael Hevener. I've been on the Commission, what, about 4 months, I think?
Pamela Waterton, I've been in the Commission also for 4 months. Thank you.
Andy Kurapati, and I've been on the Commission for 1.5 years.
Aria Nair, and I've also been on the Commission for 1.5 years.
Now that introductions are done, this presentation is broken into sections. The first is sharing of our vision, followed by a rundown of our successes. Then a list of priorities, ending with a discussion and a chance for questions and conversation around arts and culture. The Arts and Culture Commission works with the cultural arts staff year-round to fulfill the Commission's mission and vision for the community. The mission is to be a catalyst for Redmond's diverse and inventive community. Vision, to create a community inspired and connected by arts and culture. In addition, we as commissioners share a main value to build a vibrant community through arts and culture that celebrates our diversity and promotes equitable opportunities. We wanted to visually share the areas of Redmond where art and cultural events have been programmed over the past year. This is a good indication of our reach within the community and highlights the areas where we plan to focus our efforts in the future. Please note that this only reflects temporary, current, and upcoming projects. Existing permanent arts are not shown here.
I'm honored to share with you some of our successes since we last met in September of 2023. The Commission was involved in the selection and review of city projects, including a number of commissioned permanent public artworks. New integrated sculptures on 152nd Avenue in Overlake opening this fall, and 4 artworks for the new Redmond Senior and Community Center debuted as a part of the opening of new building this past May. A new rotating art exhibition program debuted at the same time, giving local 2D visual artists an opportunity to show their work for 4-month-long shows. The second of those exhibits opens this week. We also had artists working in the community, including the new Poet Laureate, Ching-In Chen, who just launched their large-scale project, Read Local, Eat Local, which partners with local food-related businesses to share community-created poems. We have helped and will continue to help the events team by adding art components to the city's 2 signature events, Derby Days and the Redmond Lights, and just hosted the 2nd annual Downtown Redmond Art Walk, plus our training programs that support local artists and grant programs supporting organizations.
In 2024, those operating support grants had 12 applicants, 4 more than 2023. and grants were awarded to 9 organizations for a total of $15,000. These awards are unrestricted support grants for eligible Redmond-based organizations with annual budgets of less than $500,000, whose missions serve the community through access to arts, arts education, and cultural heritage experiences. This program is intended to assist with the attraction and retention of arts and culture organizations. The Commission also works on selection and review of external projects in the city, including sound transit and privately developed public art. Past commissioners were on art selection panels for sound transit at the 4 Redmond stations, and sound transit visits the Commission regularly with updates. We also review and approve privately developed public art projects, including those who are adding art to fulfill a blank wall or gateway requirement, or those adding art to gain extra square footage in the Marymoor Village neighborhood where art incentives are offered, or just voluntarily to add vibrancy to their buildings.
These graphs and charts give us a chance to look at where we are currently and where we have been as we plan for the future. There are a few things we wanted to highlight. Based on pre-pandemic data, Derby Days is going strong as we surpass the 2022 and 2023 projections for attendance. While Redmond Lights initially does not appear to match this upward trend, this can be explained by the fact that we do not track interactions with the art installations and only have event night data, so the true numbers are higher than what we have marked. Here we see a spike in permanent public art installations and can note that we are matching past peaks for grant applications. Overall, there are many successes to celebrate. This commission keeps working on 3 priorities: cultural inclusion and outreach, public art funding, and opportunities for artists by creating a pipeline for strengthening skills and building resumes. The first priority is cultural inclusion and outreach. The Arts and Culture Commission was instrumental in pushing forward the 2017 Cultural Inclusion Resolution and continues to champion connecting our diverse communities, providing a sense of belonging, allowing for cultural expression, fostering mutual respect, and building empathy. And we stand committed to providing equitable opportunities while hosting art and performances that reflect the city's diverse population.
The second priority is public art funding. In 2017, City Council adopted the Public Art Plan, which recommended updating the 1991 Public Art Ordinance 1640 to increase the funding for public art investments and also broaden the types of investments that would be eligible for this funding. In 2018, staff presented a recommendation to City Council to revise this ordinance to provide increased and sustainable funding, transparency, and clarity on how public art is funded and invested in. This process was put on hold in late 2019, but the process has reignited, and city staff are planning to brief the City Council in early 2025 with new updated recommendations that will provide increased and predictable funding for public art in Redmond.
Which brings us to Artist Pipeline, our ongoing efforts to retain, attract, and provide opportunities for artists and art organizations to grow and become more stable and successful. This includes our operational support grants that fund Redmond-based art organizations. And for individuals, we invest by training the next generation of public artists who can create culturally relevant artworks that represent the diverse population of the city of Redmond. So we have been building an artist pipeline to help artists from historically underrepresented communities and all emerging artists increase their skills and build up their resumes. This begins by training artists through the Public Art Intensive Eastside, the Public Art Intensive Eastside workshops, and by providing lower barrier opportunities such as asphalt art and temporary public art calls, allowing emerging artists to gain experience while building their portfolio. All with the goal of building a local and regional network of artists who have the experience to be awarded larger scale public art commissions and can sustain a career as professional artists.
Thank you for your time. We are excited for any questions on the presentation or thoughts you may have on the importance of arts in our community.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you. That was so succinct. Thank you for sharing all of that. It's wonderful to hear from all of you, and I will open it up to the council to ask our Arts and Culture Commissioners questions about what they shared or anything else going on in the city of Redmond related to art and culture. Councilmember Stewart, then Councilmember Nueva Camina.
Thank you so much, and good evening. Thank you all for being here and sharing a bit more about your work, and especially I really appreciated hearing about the support you give to our wonderful events team in producing kind of these catalytic moments for community engagement around our city. So thank you so much. In case you didn't get a chance to check it out yet, we have on display in the chambers the coloring sheet that was at our council booth during the Downtown Redmond Art Walk last Thursday night, which was a wonderful event. In the middle of the worksheet is actually a young person wanted to replicate our downtown rainbow crosswalk, and they were really inspired by that. So all to say, it was just a really wonderful event. I was wondering, because some of the questions we got during that event, you all would actually be better prepared to answer, like, how do I share more art in Redmond? How do I get connected? How do we have training? And I can speak in broad strokes to the public art intensive, but I wonder at future opportunities, maybe even the same event next year, would you all be interested in co-hosting that booth with us? I saw many of you. Is that something that you all would be interested in your capacity as commissioners?
Oh, turn the mic. We got to turn the mic on.
Yes, sorry. Yes, that's a great idea. We should.
Councilmember Nueva Camina.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners, for being here and for all the work that you do to help make Redmond just a little bit brighter, a little bit more vibrant, and bringing all of us together. You've done a really great job. I also love that just before this meeting in our Committee of the Whole, we were talking about Derby Days and doing a recap of this. So having Derby Days attendance over time is wonderful to have followed up. I know that I don't believe that you knew that that's what we were talking about. So this is wonderful information that we've got. Had a question about, on the next slide of it, on the statistics. We see, and I'm going to make an assumption that we saw higher than normal grant applications because of what was happening during pandemic and due to the economy. And we start seeing this downward trend over time, the lowest being in for quite some time. Actually, that is the lowest, except for 2014. In 2023, and then we see a spike back up this year. So could somebody speak to the spike in applications that we received this year? Was it because we increased our capacity to receive applications, or is there an underlying need in the artist community that at large we're not aware of? What is driving that?
I'll jump into that one. I think it's a combination of both the things you talked about. I think we every time we strive to get the word out more. And so I think we are doing that. And then I think on top of that, I think there is a need for that. And we see that with our training program, Public Art Intensive Eastside, that had a double attendance than it did the last few years. And then also with people applying for calls as well.
That's wonderful. I love that. In Redmond, we continue to make arts a priority and understand the importance of it. So that's wonderful. My second question was on building the artist pipeline that we've gotten, and hoping to understand a little bit more on how we select our artists, because we've selected artists that are both local and that are national. We've got this incredibly beautiful mural in our Senior and Community Center by Mauricio Ramirez, which is just stunning. So could you explain just a little bit about how we're building our pipeline and what is our target of local to national artists?
I'll jump back into that one as well. So I think the reason for the pipeline and the Public Art Intensive Eastside specifically is that we were seeing that for the larger calls, we weren't getting local artists to apply. And so I think the idea was, we need to change that. And so 6 years ago, started the Public Art Intensive Eastside, and then tried to also increase those kind of lower barrier calls to help build people's resumes. We haven't seen, we haven't had a new permanent public art call in a little while, but we have been noticing that with our temporary calls, that we are getting more and more Redmond-specific artists, this year for Redmond Lights, half the people that applied had gone through the public art intensive side. So it's kind of proof that it's working. And what I'm really hoping that we'll see the next time we do a big permanent work, that some of those people will also make that leap.
Council Vice President Forsyth.
Thank you. Really enjoyed hearing about the work that you've been collaborating with on Sound Transit. I didn't know that that piece was happening with the regular touch points that you were having, so that was really great to hear about. I am interested, have there been any conversations, this is something we've heard a lot from public about, have there been any conversations about the concrete around the light rail and doing some art installations on that concrete? It's prime area for potential graffiti, and we know through studies that if there's art along that those concrete areas that are blank, that that they won't generally do not get graffitied. So I'm interested where the conversation is on the commission about that. Hi, Chris.
Hi. I know everyone keeps looking at me. It's very flattering. We haven't had those conversations, but we definitely will. And I'll check in with our friends at Sound Transit and see how we can move those forward.
Fantastic. Thank you.
That's a great idea. I mean, having some artwork, on the way in the light rail stations. And I think we should start having a conversation about it, because there are a lot of artists.
Yep. A lot of opportunity there.
Abundant, the talent in Redmond and around international, whatever. So it's high time we talk about it. Thank you.
And just as a side note, Sound Transit selects their own art for the stations, but they do work with us. And so we should be seeing some pretty spectacular art coming online when our last two stations open next spring as well. Council President Kritzer.
First of all, just want to say thank you so much to you all for your amazing work and volunteering for our city, and honestly, especially to just commend the Arts and Culture Commission for how incredible the arts are in our new senior and community center. Everyone in our community, I think, has just been blown away by it, and it's wonderful to be able to tell them that, we had a whole group of residents that engaged in that review and in that work, and all the art pieces that we see throughout our city, that you all have such a key hand in that. So first of all, just want to say thank you. I'm curious to hear a little bit, since we often talk about visual arts within this presentations and some of the things that we discuss, about any of your recent discussions around performance art and what we can be doing in our city to be able to support more performance art, whether that's within events or within different organizations organizing that, as well as just any of your thoughts on it, even if you haven't discussed it recently within a commission meeting, so that we can be looking ahead to think about how do we create an even more vibrant performing arts scene here in Redmond.
Yes, and I think we'll be having more conversations on that regarding performing arts. And as you were mentioning, there's a lot of diverse communities living in Redmond and around Redmond, and they have lots of talents that they could bring in. And all the festivals you have been a part of, all the festivals, cultural festivals happening, and so many performance groups are there. And yeah, it'll be a great idea for us to combine performing arts along with our, maybe even last year we had for art walk, right? We had a lot of performances happening, right? This year also. So we could maybe increase that. We need more revenue maybe. So we will be doing it, and we are very much interested, performing arts as well as even literary arts. I think we have mentioned here that we have been doing it along with the food trucks and, restaurants, giving all the poetry, Yes, so thank you.
Did you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we had the poetry, wonderful readings that were, I don't know, about at least 24 poems read. And any event that we have, like Redmond Lights, or there's always some part of it that it's a performance. So I think if we had more of those events, there'd definitely be more space for those for those performances. And there's also like you were bringing up special dates for different cultural groups to have more opportunities to have performances that are very specific, very different. Even on this one we had dancing. I was dancing also there, learning how to dance. It was great.
Thank you. Other questions? Councilmember Salahuddin?
Yep. Thank you all for joining us. I'll direct my question to the youth advocates. I really appreciate your service on this commission. I just wanted to ask, what do you see as sort of the arts and culture initiatives that will bring more young people out to enjoy the art in our city?
Well, I mean, definitely, like, of course, like Public Art Intensive East Side is a great program to get like artists who are like new in their careers, like immersed in this field of art, and to give them these opportunities to expand their skills, right? But with regards to like engaging the youth of the city, it's events like Redmond Lights and Derby Days that really get these people to turn out. And like all these events, like I think that we had like a Ferris wheel, right? And lots of kids will go and ride on that. And in that process, they'll like be exposed to the arts in this city, and they'll want to learn more if they're interested by it.
I totally agree. I also think there's such a great network of young poets in Redmond, and the work that our poet laureate is doing will definitely invite more people to explore that form of art.
I add something to that. I have 2 kids, and my daughter volunteers and loves to volunteer at Derby Days and Redmond Lights. So, and with her brings a group of friends from her school as well. So I think it's kind of an immersion where it's a ripple effect. They talk about, what they did. They volunteered and they got responsibilities and roles they played, and also got connected with folks in community here in Redmond, seeing how diverse we are. So I think we are spreading among the youth as well when they come to these big events and they see what fun they are and how they contribute to our community here in Redmond.
And I would like to add one more. As we were mentioning, involving the youth, one of the youth artists we got for the public art, for the artwork was, how old was she? Like 7 years old?
18 had just graduated from high school, from Redmond High School.
From Redmond. Just 8-year-old girl, artist, applied for this public art, and we felt very happy about it. I mean, so they know about our Redmond art scenario, and but it should spread to more youth. And maybe I think we should, going forward in future, we should have more collaborations with Teen Center, Redmond Teen Center, and also with local schools. There are a lot of middle schools, high schools. We could do a lot because there's so much abundant talent there, writers and artists, performing artists and visual artists. And we could do a lot of collaborations with them. Anything you want to add?
Anything else to add? Yeah? Okay. Councilmember Fields, I think you'll have the last question this evening.
A lot of pressure. I don't even know necessarily if this is a good idea or even if I think I want to ask this question, but one of the things when I think about art and I think about like throughout the ages, the history of art, there's always been artists who have captured something important in a location at the time. One of the things I saw a few years ago in North Carolina was a mural, a very large mural of Nina Simone in one of the North Carolina cities. One of the most inspirational, coolest things I've ever seen, because she happens to be one of my personal heroes. Now, I am not suggesting we put a mural of Bill Gates up anywhere, but have we ever looked at what Redmond has contributed on an international level? I mean, maybe the PC or something, or whatever, back to Native people. I don't know what that would look like, but I would think it would be interesting.
If anyone wants to comment on that. Mr. Weber, would you like to comment on that?
Sure. I think the thing that we probably is the most recent is that the houseboat on Bear Creek that does commemorate the archaeological site. I think that definitely speaks to that area and to Redmond in general.
Yeah, that's a nice idea, and also we could work with Historical Society in Redmond, because history is very important, our past, because that is the foundation. And maybe we could work with them and, do something interesting that will reflect the character of Redmond. Thanks.
Well, I want to say thank you all. Oh, Council Vice President had the last word.
Real quickly, we do on our council talk time have a hopper item that speaks to the funding that you spoke to about the 2019, what had happened. So Councilmember Anderson put that forward, and we will be talking about that later tonight. So hopefully we'll be able to get you guys some more funding, and we'll have some good conversation around that coming up.
And with that, I want to say once again, thank you all very much. Thank you to the commissioners for joining us this evening. Appreciate all the work that you do. And obviously, you just bring such a vibrancy to our community. So thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.